I am here to testify on behalf of two bills, and I'm a co-sponsor of each. One is H461, which is an act to expand access to the MCAS appeals process. Chief sponsor is Representative Malia. And the other one is H3660, an act to improve assessment and accountability to ensure students acquire 21st century skills, which Representative Shirtino is the chief sponsor. And I'll just speak on H3660, and I'll be giving you written testimony on both. Fundamentally, you've heard already a lot of discussion about the role of MCAS, the difficulties for many children, particularly kids with special needs. And this is all not new criticism. I was sat on this committee for 6 terms, and the criticism has come before, but now a span of time has gone by where we've had a chance to look at it, and I think reassessing the situation makes a lot of sense. And the reason is that if you look at the issues of dropouts, and at least the maintenance, if not increasing dropouts, if you look at kids, one of the testifiers mentioned this, entering public colleges and then needing remediation until you know that something isn't quite working right, even for those who pass the MCAS test and get on to college. So I think the bill H3660 does not throw out MCAS entirely, continues to have some what might be called objective testing, but puts into the mix things such as portfolios, things such as teacher tests, and tries to get a more well-rounded picture of how we assess our kids. And essentially also, the bill puts a little more emphasis on whole school accountability. I think one of the weaknesses of the MCAS system we have now is it kind of punishes the child. And although we use some of the data for the schools, we don't actually look at what's happening in the schools. We should be really doing that in order to improve the situation. Just from my personal experience, I want to make 2 other comments on this. I think school portfolios are really a wonderful assessment tool. I have seen a first grader who was videoed at the beginning of the year and at the end of the year. And boy, you could really tell whether or not this child had learned how to read from that video. I have sat in a number of times on 8th grade portfolio presentations. In my city of Cambridge, we have K through 8 schools, and many of the schools have 8th grade portfolio presentations. And from that kid, in some cases, a half an hour, to go through 3 or 4 or 5 subjects and to make a presentation. And you find out very quickly how much this child knows, what they've learned in math and English and in a variety of things. So it's really one way to integrate the idea that we want to have some quality standards as well as some more, quote, objective standards. And lastly, I would say I had a son who is very learning disabled. He's now very old, but he was very learning disabled in school, still learning disabled. This was pre-MCAS. He had a tough time in school, but he got help and so forth. He did graduate. He is a college graduate. He's the best father in the world to my grandchildren. But I often wonder whether if he had at that time to take this series of very tough, not tough, but these paper and pencil tests that he didn't have a great spark for, whether he would be where he is now. So I urge you to really take a look at this MCAS, because you have so many bills, there's something in the air that says we really need to make some changes. Thank you very much for your indulgence.